Ante Narayana Smriti. How can one remember Narayan at the time of leaving this body? First of all, what does one gain by remembering Narayan? We should first understand that. Why should we remember Narayan at the time of death? What is the ultimate result of such remembrance? That is to be first established, first understood. Then we can think of how to remember Narayan at the time of leaving the body. Now, Krishna thinks it's very important. Krishna is the highest authority. Amongst all the authorities, Krishna is the highest authority. And he is saying that at the time of leaving the body, whatever you're thinking, wherever your consciousness is engaged with, absorbed in, that body you will get, or that life you will get. Antukale choman evam smaran muktva kalevaram. Jah prayati sadat bhavam sadatvat bhava bhavita. Krishna is saying at the time when you are leaving the body, kalevar means body. Antukale, at the end of your life, Antukale, choma evam. If you remember me, Krishna is saying, then you will certainly attain me. You will certainly come to me. Now, Krishna is very kind, as well as Krishna is very correct. So, in this particular verse, that Krishna does not say that only devotees will come to me. In other places he says that. When one is devoted, one is... So why is this slight difference? Because of Krishna's kindness and Krishna's non-prejudice. He is unprejudiced, unbiased. He gives everyone a chance. Those who have been worshipping Krishna throughout their life, Krishna is saying they will certainly come to me. Manvana bhava mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mam evashyasi satyam te pratijanihi priyosi me. Like that, mat chitta mat gata prana or anannas chintayantu mam. So when one is practicing for a long time, on a regular basis, Krishna is saying they will come. And then again he is saying that at the time of death, at the time of leaving the body, if you think of me, then you will come to me. Now, that does not imply that if you don't think of me, that you will not come to me. It doesn't mean that. It's a general statement. Anyone, because he is leaving this opportunity for everyone. The devotees are already been promised that they will come. Yeah? The one who is constantly thinking of me will certainly attain me. The one who is offering obeisances to me, worshipping me, meditating on me, will certainly come to me. So, for a devotee who's been practicing devotional life. For some time, it seems that Krishna is assuring them that he will come to me. Now, at the time of death, there are two verses regarding remembering what you remember, what you do at the time of death. One is Antakale Chama Evam Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. If you remember, Smaran means if you remember at the time of breathing your last. Antakale. Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. When the body, when the soul is leaving the body. Then, Jap Prayati Samadbhavam Sadatadbhava Bhavita. He will certainly come to me. So, this particular approach that Krishna is offering us at the time of death. Now, there was a very transcendental argument between two very great Acharyas, Vaishnava Acharyas. Madhva Ācharya and Rāmanuja Ācharya. Very great Acharyas. First was Madhva Ācharya there, and then later came Rāmanuja Ācharya. They belong to two separate Vaishnava spiritual line, discipline, succession, parampara. Madhvacharya is in the line of Brahma. Lord Brahma established the spiritual current. And Rāmanujacharya, he appeared in the Lakshmi Devi Sampradaya. The Vaishnava Sampradaya, which is established by Lakshmi Devi. Rāmanujacharya appeared in that. So, when they were discussing these two verses, the second verse is Jam Jam Vyapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajya Tante Kalevaram. Jam Jam Vyapi Smaran Bhavam, same thing. Krishna is saying in both the cases, he was in one, he is making a general statement. Whatever you are thinking of at the time of death, that you will attain. If you are thinking like Bharat Maharaj of the small, it was not small, it was already grown up, deer that he raised, Bharat Maharaj, he saved a deer calf from drowning, saved him. And because he was living in the forest, so he was taking care of him, of the little deer. And like that he developed strong attachment. So when he was leaving, when his time came to leave his body, then his thoughts were on this deer. Oh, what is going to happen to this deer? I'm leaving, I was looking after the deer, and the deer is always with me, doesn't know how to live in the forest. So what's the deer going to do? Not there. And he leaves his body, thinking of the deer. So in his next life, he gets the body of a deer. Jam jam vyapi smaran bhavam tyajya tante kalevaram. Whatever you're thinking of the time of death, you shall get that next birth, next incarnation. And in the next verse, Krishna is saying that antakale choma evam choma evam. If somebody thinks of me, it's not a general statement anymore. In the first, it was general. Wherever you're thinking, whatever you're thinking, you will get that body. Now, what also means that if somebody is thinking of Krishna, then you also get Krishna. Because it's a general statement, whatever. Jam jam. Whatever, whatever. Jam jam means whatever. And then in the next verse, Krishna is saying, Antakale choma evam smaran muktva kalevan. At the time of leaving the body, if one is thinking of me, certainly will come to me. So these two statements, one follows the other. Now, these two great Acharyas, Madhva Ācharya came first. He has written a commentary, the Bhagavad Gita. Practically all great Acharyas have written commentaries. And so did Rāmanuja Ācharya, who came a few hundred years later. So we know the very famous logic. Logic means using a particular aspect of something, some nature, somebody's character and qualities, to give an example of spiritual life, of giving example to spiritual realization. So our previous Acharyas, everyone, it's also in the Vedas, there is a particular way of communicating a very important principle, very important truth. That truth is communicated through examples. So, Madhva Ācharya, who came first, earlier, he was supporting what is known as Markat Nyaya. Markat is monkey. Just like the baby monkey has to hold on very tight to the mother monkey. Because the mother monkey must have both her hands free. Because she's jumping from one tree to the other or moving about, so she needs her hands free. Now, if she's using one hand, they don't walk on 2 feet, they have 4 hands that they walk on. So if one hand is engaged in keeping the baby, then she can't properly walk with 3. Not possible. Nor can she spring from one tree to the other, because they live in the jungles. So if the baby does not hold on tightly, then at the time of springing from one tree to the other, if the baby is not very strongly holding on, it could fall down and finish. So the onus, the responsibility of being safe is with the baby. Now, by the Lord's arrangement, the Paramatma has already imbibed in the baby monkey this thought that I must hold on to my mother. There's no verbal communication from the mother to the child. The mother monkey doesn't teach a child, hey, listen, you have to hold on to me. It's Paramatma. And then there's the other one. It's called Marjada. Marjada. Marjada means cat. And when the cat is born blind, small baby, for almost a month, there is no eyes, cannot see. So the mother has to take full care. So she lifts the kitten with the neck, with her teeth. She also has to have her 4 feet free. So she lifts up the thing. And the kitten, the baby kitten, she completely relaxes every single muscle of her body. Because if there's any kind of strain, if the child is not completely free, if it's tense, then it's difficult. So the child makes, the kitten makes herself completely free without any tension. Because she also knows, this is my mother who is carrying me. So I'm completely safe. Now I'm giving these 2 examples because the question was such that how can one remember Krishna or Narayan at the end, when giving up the body? So Madhva is saying that we all have to be like the baby monkeys. We have to hold on tightly to the lotus feet of Krishna, because Krishna is saying that in the Bhagavad Gita. That if you think of me at the time of your death, then you will certainly come to me. Which means what is implicit. Explicit is that you have to hold on to my feet. But is implicit in this statement is that if you don't, then you can't come to me. If you don't think of me, then you can't come to me. That is what is implicit in that statement. If Krishna is saying that if you think of me, then you will come to me. Then you will certainly come to me. So here it is not necessary for Krishna to say that if you don't think of me, then you cannot come to me. Not necessary. It is to be understood. It is implicit. And the other, Jam Jam Vapi Smaran Bhavan, whatever thought you have at the time of death, you should, that's a general statement. So now, Madhvacharya is saying that we have to be like a baby monkey. We have to hold, it is our, by our own initiative. Our own initiative, we have to take the initiative and remember Krishna. Because if we don't, then we will not be able to attain Krishna. So, the onus of responsibility lies with the devotees. They have to think. So Rāmanuja Ācharya comes a few 100 years later and he says, no, I cannot agree with this. I cannot agree with this because a devotee who has devoted his life, many, many years he's been practicing, whether he's been practicing nicely or not, it's not the question. He's been practicing. And if at the time of death he cannot remember Krishna, will Krishna forget him? Will Krishna forget this devotee who has devoted his life 40, 50 years, 30 years or whatever, and not at all remember, oh, he has been worshipping me, he has been chanting my name, he has been offering obeisances to me, he's taking prasada, and he speaks about me, he praises me, he prays to me. So shall I forget that completely? Am I so ungrateful? No, no, no. Rāmanuja Ācharya says Krishna is not ungrateful. We are ungrateful. We take from Krishna, but we don't even have the decency to even offer him our obeisances. We don't care. So many of them. But Krishna is supplying everything. So Rāmanuja Ācharya is saying, no. Even if we are not able to hold on to the lotus feet of Krishna or remember him at the time of death, Krishna is going to not forget all those times when we were actually praying to him and chanting his name and offering obeisances to him. He will not forget. He will certainly come like the cat mother and lift us up out of the material world. So, the question is Ante Narayana Smriti. How to remember Krishna. Now, if the goal is remembering Krishna and not attaining his lotus feet, then of course we have to think otherwise. What is our goal? Is our goal simply remembering Krishna? Or is our goal to attain his lotus feet? Which one? What is our actual goal? Is our goal to remember Krishna? Or is our goal to attain, to reach, to get shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna? What is our goal?
Attain the lotus feet.
Okay, to attain the lotus feet. So in that case, we have to engage from the very beginning when we come to know about bhakti. From that point onwards, we have to engage in devotion, bhakti. Then, whether we remember Krishna at the time of death or not is not so important. And therefore this famous verse also Prabhupada quotes from King Kulashekhar. He was a very devotee king. He had his kingdom in Kerala. And that his palace is all made out of wood, beautiful carved. Still now. Lived 1100 years ago. So he has written a beautiful poem, Mukunda Mālā Stotram, it's called. A pearl of necklace in praise of Mukunda, the one who gives liberation. Mukunda is the name of Krishna because he gives liberation and therefore he's called Mukunda. So there he's writing in one verse that, O my Lord, let my mind take the form, shape, and character of a Hamsa. Hamsa. Hamsa means, what is it in English for Hamsa?
Swan.
Swan. Let my mind be like a swan. Now, what is the meaning of swan? The swan loves to put his beak inside the lotus flower, only the lotus flower. The swan, wherever you see the swan, there will be lotus flowers. And the swans are attracted by the lotus flower. And he puts his beak inside to taste the nectar and smell the sweet aroma of lotus. So here he is saying that Krishna's tadiya pad pankajanta advaiva vishatu me. So let the lotus of my mind, let the swan of my mind enter the lotus of your feet. Your feet are lotus feet. And my mind, let it become like a swan. Advaiva vishatu me. Advaiva means right now. Let my mind, taking the form of a swan, enter into your lotus feet. Advaiva vishatu me manasa raja hangsa. My mind, let it become like Rajhans. Actually, Rajhans is even bigger than a swan. Swans are a little smaller. Rajhans, Raj means king. So it's a little bigger. And very beautiful. Just glides on the water. You never see it moving like a duck. When the duck paddles, you can see the back going like this. But when a swan just glides beautifully, and that's a Rajhangsa. Krishna's tadiya pada pankajanta advaiva vishatu me manasa Rajhangsa prana prayana samay kafapata pittai kantha avarodhan bhai smaranam kutastu. Krishna, you're saying that at the time of death, we have to think of you. That's what you're saying. Antakale chamaevam smaran mukta kalevaram. That's what you're saying. Then only we will come to you. But my Lord, my problem is that at the time of death, prana prayana samay, when my life air leaves this body, prana prayana samay, kaphabhata pittai, the three doshas, elements, that is the slime, what is that? Pitta in English? Gall. Gall, this yellow thing in us. And
Color.
what?
Color.
We are not speaking here in German, my dear. This is English class. So Gale is in the German class, and in English it is gall. So, kaphabhata pittai. Kapha is Slime, bath means air. Due to the movement of slime, air and gall, the throat becomes choked. Becomes choked, you can't breathe at the time of death. Don't get afraid. But it happens. This is what the body has to experience. So at that time, my Lord, I will not be able to think of you. How will I be able to think of you at that time when I'm experiencing so much discomfort? So much discomfort. I'm trying to breathe, and so how can I think of you at that time? So my Lord, my prayer is, let my mind become a swan, and right at this moment, let this swan of my mind enter your lotus feet and taste the nectar there. I don't want to wait to think of you or remember you at the time of death, but right now. So, what it comes down to is that it is not really essential for a devotee who has been practicing for many years, bhakti yoga, to remember Krishna. And besides that, Krishna is saying that remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, all three come from me. All three come from me. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. That is, from me, I residing in the heart of all living entities, sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto. I'm in everyone's heart as Paramatma. And from this Paramatma, from me comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. So if Krishna wants me to remember him at the time of death, he will make me remember. I don't have to. I'm helpless. I'm so small, insignificant, so completely weak and helpless. How can I overcome the situation in the time of death and remember you? So, my dear Lord, please accept my prayer right now. And then you decide what you want to do at the time of my death. If you want me to remember you, I shall certainly remember. And if you want me to forget you, then I shall certainly forget.
One question comes in mind that even if someone is practicing bhakti yoga for many, many years, but at this time of leaving his body, suppose he is not able to remember Krishna and remember something else. So what kind of body he gets in his next birth?
Whatever Krishna decides. You see, Krishna has made these two statements so that he leaves the possibility for anyone and everyone to come to him, so that no one can criticize Krishna. Oh, Krishna is partial to his devotees. Because he is allowing anyone and everyone, doesn't matter. Krishna doesn't say who will be allowed to come to him when that person is thinking of Krishna. He may not have performed bhakti yoga. He may have just come to know about Krishna one day before. And just again in the case of Jamil, he chanted Krishna's name, Narayan's name in Sanket. Sanket means he was chanting, he was saying Narayan, but he was not meaning Narayan. He was meaning his son. That is called Sanket. He still went to Vaikuntha. So, devotees are under a special care of Krishna, special care. And as I said, Krishna never forgets, and is extremely grateful. Krishna is Kritagya. One of his 64 qualities is that he is Kritagya. Kritagya means grateful. Even if you do a little thing for Krishna, a little bit, Krishna is saying that I will see that it never gets lost. This little service that you have done to me, it is your permanent, eternal asset. I will protect this. So that in the next birth, you can again start from that point where you finished in the last one. If you are unable to finish, completing the path to liberation, if you was interrupted, then I will make sure that from next life you begin from that point on. So you'll never get lost. That is Krishna's nature, that is Krishna's character. He is extremely grateful. So it hardly matters for a devotee where his thoughts dwell at the time of death. Hardly matters. What really matters is how dedicated I am right now. That is what is more important. And death will take care of itself. I have to become dedicated right now. Every moment is precious. Every moment is precious. So will Krishna not see, take note of this? That he is someone who is and so attached to me, but due to circumstances, he may not be able to think of me at the time of death. So what? And another thing is, we have the misconception that Krishna is making it difficult for us to attain him. This is a misconception we have, misunderstanding. Krishna is trying to make everything easy for us. How easy? Sing, dance. Prabhupada used to say, sing, dance and take prasad, that's all. If you can do these three things on a regular basis, then Mahaprabhu himself will come and take you back to the Supreme. This is Prabhupada's statement. Sing, dance, and take prasad. all these three are actually great pleasure. It gives happiness. When you're singing, people sing out of happiness. When they sing, one is... But when one sings, then one becomes also happy. It's like you sing because you're happy, and when you sing, you become more happy. So it goes back and forth. Dancing also. And now, of course, singing and dancing for grown-ups, they become a little shy. They're a little shy. Can't dance. But you don't have to be an expert dancer. Just lift up your hands and keep rhythm with your feet and sing. That's dancing. It also gives so much of happiness. Dance. It makes you very light, very free. And taking prasadam certainly is great pleasure. So actually Krishna has simplified. Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it extremely simplified. Because he wants everyone to come to the spiritual world. That is it. If that be the case, then why should Krishna impose his rule, law, his law? The law is for those who are breaking the law. Prabhupada used to say, he says that the police is there to protect the law-abiding citizens. Those who are following the law, to protect them, the police are there. The police will not punish someone who's following the law, will it? No. They will punish those who are breaking the law. Similarly, the laws that Krishna has laid down is for those who are breaking the law, so that they know that they're breaking the law and therefore they have to reform. But those who are not breaking the law, they are receiving Krishna's gratitude, receiving Krishna's mercy. There Krishna is not imposing his law. There Krishna is showering with mercy. Showering with mercy. No law. Law is only for those law breakers. They will be punished. And for them all these the different laws have been laid down. So one doesn't have to make the spiritual life, like yesterday we were speaking, spiritual life shouldn't be seen as something very challenging. No. Because it is our natural propensity. We have forgotten, due to our misfortune, we have forgotten our eternal relationship to Krishna. And that's why we think that we don't have any relationship to Krishna, and Krishna is some Hindu god or something like that. No. Just like the sun is not a Hindu sun. So, Krishna is for everyone.
this particular verse that you mentioned, Krishna Tadiya Pada Pankaj Panjaratnam, I heard recently, Srila Prabhupada is saying it very beautifully.
So, devotees should understand that Krishna is making it easy for those who are aspiring to become devotees. Makes it easy. Has so many attractive features. Singing, dancing, and taking prasad. These are very attractive features. If somebody is offering this as a job description, he has a company and they want workers. And the job description is that you have to sing, dance, and take prasad. So who will not apply? Everyone will apply. Everyone with little intelligence. Foolish people will not. They will think, what is this? How is this possible? So that is the job description of a bhakti yoga. So Krishna is never putting up obstructions in our way. Krishna never does that. Mayadevi does that. To make sure that our bhakti, devotion, is very strong and firm. So, and of course, for elevated devotees, there Krishna himself is putting us to test. For elevated devotees, just like the Pandavas, so much of test they had to overcome. So many tests, one after the other. Almost they were being killed. To that level of danger they were put to test. What test do we have? Nothing. Because we are not in that level. When we come to that level, then the test will get a little more difficult. And that will come from Krishna himself, just to make sure that our devotion is very firm and strong. But as long as our devotion is not so strong and firm, then Krishna will give Maya Devi to do her job. This is the job of Maya Devi, to test us.
Gurudev, and those who attain Krishna, even if they didn't walk the way of bhakti, but they remember Krishna at the time of death, do they attain Krishna then?
Yes, if they want. If they desire to have Krishna while they were practicing bhakti, if they have got rid of all the anarthas, then they will get mukti to Vaikuntha. But if somebody wants only Krishna Prem and wants to go to Golok Vrindavan, then it will take longer. Take longer.
How do we know it's a test for Mālā? How do we know it's a
How do we know what?
It's a test for us. This is a test in our spiritual life.
I mean, when one is practicing bhakti, then karma is finished. Karma is finished. But we are still in the material world. Now, being in the material world, all that is taking place, all the different functions in the material world continue. Just because we have become devotees doesn't mean that these functions of the material world will stop or change. No, it will continue. So, by making our bhakti firm and strong, we shall be able to understand that a certain problem, like getting sick, or becoming old, or there's some natural catastrophe somewhere, like a pandemic, for example. Now this will continue, this cannot stop. So this is not a test. This is the nature of this material world, and it will continue to happen. But not everyone will become a victim of that. One can stay above all this. This will not, for a devotee even who is on that level, when the anarthas have all gone, will not experience this like that, like the ordinary mortals, the conditioned souls. They will experience the tremendous fear and anxiety and suffering. But a devotee not so. And we will know also that this is Krishna who is testing me. We will know.
Is for devotee kids?
Huh?
For devotee kids, is the karma also gone?
Devotee kid.
Yeah, children.
Well, if the parents are devotees, then the karma is already finished in the belly. You know, because you see, usually, and this is, we know from of course, it depends if the children are advanced. There's also a difference. If the children are advanced, then and also there are so many examples from the scriptures, like Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami was 12 years in mother's womb. 12 years. So father was saying, hey, come out, what are you doing? Because the father was, Vyasadeva was very eager to teach Srimad Bhagavatam. And for this reason, he had this child. Otherwise, he was not having any children. Only after he had written the Bhagavatam. So he wanted to have someone who could broadcast. Simply writing is enough, it has to be broadcast. So 12 years he was. Then he didn't want to come out. So the father said, hey, come out, what are you doing? He said, no, I'm very comfortable here. I don't have to do anything. There's no karma. I don't have to eat. I don't have to pass stool. I don't have to urinate. Everything is taken care of. So why should I come? And then again you have Chitraketu's son, who was poisoned. And then you have Srivas Thakur's son, who died after a few days of birth. So there's no principle as such that all devotee children will be free from karma. You understand? Well, naturally, being born in the family of a devotee parents, is certainly a very elevated birth. That is for sure.
If you're speaking about the lotus feet of Krishna, is it even possible to explain or describe what really is to look for shelter in the lotus feet of Krishna?
Once again?
I mean, if you're saying, speaking about lotus feet of Krishna, I mean, we just know our, feet, so, but how we can more imagine really to go into deep thoughts to look for shelter in the lotus feet of Krishna?
Well, that comes by constantly hearing about great devotees, how they have taken shelter of the lotus feet and the lotus feet of Krishna. So, by hearing this, we get inspiration. And we always understand that one thing is sure, that the material world is not a place where a devotee feels happy to live in. It's a place of misery. There's no other description. It's a place of misery. So, a devotee will not choose, after having practiced a little bit of devotion, even if it's in the beginning. Still, the devotee knows there's a lot of difference between material life and this life. So, oh no, I don't want to go back into that life, because that life is misery, full of ignorance, and I'm blind. I don't know where my life is going. None of the people, they know exactly what to do with this life. They don't know. They're just living, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's all. They have no other purpose in life. But a devotee knows that. So he can discriminate, can distinguish between that life, and even if it's in the beginning a little bit of struggle in practicing spiritual life, in the beginning it may be a little bit of struggle. That doesn't matter. Struggle is good because it makes us stronger. If we get something very easily, then we don't even know how to give it proper respect. We don't. But something which is earned and attained with difficulty, that becomes very valuable to us. But something which we gain without any effort is not much value. We don't give much value to that. So spiritual life in the beginning must be a little difficult. Should be. But only in the beginning. Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, if Krishna so desires, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada blesses us, we shall get to hear Hari Katha very soon again. I thank all of you for your patient hearing. Hare Krishna and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.